The basic story is probably pretty familiar. We crowdfunded it in 2012, raised about 3 million. Kind of on the pitch of bringing back the old school turn-based RPG, top-down camera, lots of dialogue. Our heavy focus is always on choice and consequence. We want to give the player the opportunity to make the choices that they want, and we want to make sure that the game responds logically to those choices. So that came out late last year on PC. We are now working on this Director's Cut, which is a overall upgraded version, which is coming to PC as a free upgrade, and also to Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It'll be out October 13 for PC and for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 in the Americas, and then worldwide on the 16th. So what we did was port the entire game from Unity 4 to Unity 5. We used that opportunity to go back and redo a lot of the graphics for the levels and the characters. For instance, Unity 5 allowed for a new technique called physically based rendering, which allows us to do more realistic lighting models. And we wanted to go back through all our old models and redo them based on that. We also added a bunch of voice acting for different key NPCs, so not for all of them, because we had something like 500,000 words in total, so we didn't really want to voice act at all. I'm also going to show you guys a lot of the redone interface, because this is with a controller obviously, and when we made it for PC we made it with just mouse and keyboard in mind, so a lot of the interfaces just had to be scrapped completely and redone. Like this character creation screen is basically all new and made for a controller. This is one of our new systems, what we call the quirk system. This is where you choose kind of like weird personality traits that have advantages and disadvantages. You can pick one per ranger, or you can pick none. Like if I make this guy an asshole, then he will always succeed at intimidation, but no one in the party can use any like charming options. Another example is this Raced in the Circus, which gives plus evasion but no leadership bonus. And if I pick this one, which I will because I like it so much, then the person shows up in the clown outfit and wears the clown outfit the entire game. The basics of the story and our approach to the game have been unchanged. It's a post-apocalyptic game set a few decades after the nuclear war in Arizona, and you are a group of young ranger recruits, and the opening is the burial of one veteran ranger who you're seeing buried back there, and you are being sent out to finish his mission. He was carrying radio parts back, but they did not find the radio parts, so you have to find them. And that's kind of the start of the story, but obviously it branches out from there. This interface is much the same, but I'm going to show you guys some new ones in a bit. And like I said, we have a heavy focus on letting players kind of make their own choices. For instance, you can pick up this shovel, and if you want, you can try to dig up this grave where they're burying this ranger. Whoa. If I can. No. There we go. But then he gives you a warning, and if you keep trying to do it, he will eventually just turn on you and shoot you. And then the game is over right there. Like if you want to play the shortest game ever, and then that's basically it. So I am moving with the left stick, and I control the camera with the right. If I tap the right stick, I can move the camera freely, or control the text interface on the right. Similarly, if I tap the left stick, I have individual movement. But the bigger changes that we made, like all new UIs, we used to have a skill bar on the bottom that was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, where you could just tap a button and select the skill, but obviously you can't do that with a controller. So we put the skills on left trigger is a radial menu, which is context-based. So when there is something around that I can lockpick, I can pick it here. And similarly on right trigger we have the combat menu where you can select the precision strikes. That's another new system where you can aim for the head, arms, legs, or torso. I'll show you guys all of that in combat in a bit. Let me just go up to this guy. I'm using a dialogue skill here to get a free weapon. We have a trader here some of these interfaces are just generally improved, and we're going to bring some improvements back to PC. For instance, on this one, it's very easy to compare the weapon they're selling to the weapon I have equipped, and that makes shopping a lot easier. And buy and sell are on different tabs, which makes it smoother and quicker to use. Whoops. So we go to this is our lovely Clown Ranger here. I just bought this statuette and you just equip it that quickly. So this is also a new interface. We did the inventory and character screen in one screen, where you use the triggers to switch and then use the bumpers to switch between characters. Here's another new system, the perks. These are like small one-time bonuses you get every few level ups. Like minus damage from explosive, plus carry weight, that kind of stuff. We have about 20 quirks in total, and about 80 perks, so they add a lot of customization possibilities for your rangers. So if I use a skill here, the Animal Whisper skill is now lighted up because we can use it on the goat, and when I click it, it automatically selects the correct ranger to use it. So the ranger with the highest skill always tries to do the task. That makes it a lot faster to use skills than it was on the PC version, where you had to switch between rangers. You can still switch between rangers with bumpers to make different rangers leaders, but that's not necessary for skill or dialogue use. It's mostly just for formation, so that your melee guys in the front, for instance. Picking up a companion here. It's a heavily party-based game. You start with 4 rangers that you make yourself, or you use pre-made ones, and then you can pick up to 3 extra companions for a total party of 7. And even if your rangers can die in combat. We do have permanent death if you do not get a surge into them, and if that happens, you can actually just replace them with a party member. And to give another example of our choice and consequence, we picked up Angie, but she warned us, I'm not supposed to go with you guys. So if anyone asks, just tell them I'm showing you around. And if you go back to Vargas, he will ask, like, Angie, what are you doing with them? And if you just tell him the truth, no, she's actually just helping us, then he will like pluck her out of the party and she'll just be gone and no longer available as a companion. Similarly, Freedom in the World map, I can move wherever I want. I can try to draw a little mousey. No, I'm not going to be able to draw anything here, but you could try. It's kind of a hard shape. You can go anywhere on the map. I open map with D-pad up on the D-pad. I can go anywhere, but there are also consequences to wandering off the beaten track. Like if I go outside of the safe zone too far to the south, I will run into encounters that are just higher level than me and basically just die. Oh, well, random encounter. We're basically just running the full build here. We didn't take out the random encounters, so every now and again my demo is interrupted by raiders, but that is okay. So we ran into these guys and they attack us. So here we see the combat interface, which still uses the basic systems from the PC version, but we had to obviously make a lot of changes to the way it works. I'll pull out the camera here. Oh, we lost control over Angie. That happens sometimes where they decide to do their own thing. So, blue shows how far I can move and shoot, yellow shows how far I can move, period. I can move this cursor with my left trigger and select where I want to move or select an enemy. I can also use the right bumper, left bumper to quickly switch between targets. That's a lot faster way to do combat. I'm going to move him back here and attack this guy. And so that guy's in cover, so I'm going to move my guy up to cover here. And then with the right trigger you can have your other options, like this is the attack, the special attacks on the head, on the torso, on the arms, on the legs. Head actually has a fairly high hit chance here because his head is popping up out of cover, but the other ones are really hard to hit. Arms and legs slow them down or reduce their hit chance. The head can confuse them or stun them. I could try it, but I'll probably miss. Yeah, I missed. This person, and we still have the ambushes where you wait for the other person to move and then attack. This guy I'll just put in cover. Nice. That worked rather well. Looting interface is really fast, so you just loot with A, Y distributes, which means that the right person gets the right stuff. If you have the pistol skill, you get a pistol. If you have a shotgun equipped, you get shotgun ammo. So I just click Y, 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 and now we looted all the characters in this area. A lot of this, the result of a lot of this UI reworking is that this version of Wasteland 2 actually plays a lot faster than the PC version. Like you can click through, like in more difficult combat you still have to make very tactical decisions, so you're usually slower. But if it's an easy combat, you can just quickly click through targets and confirm attack. Okay, we were heading this way. Okay, this is the area where they found that ranger that was being buried in the opening, so we're here looking for the parts he should have been carrying. You can check over here and find his ranger star. So this encounter is another good example of our approach to design. These guys are trying to shake us down for money. 15 scrap, which is our money to go through here. You can pay. If you have it, you can pay. You can just not pay and say, I'm going to fight you. You can use one of the 3 dialogue skills to talk your way through it, to just scare them off fighting. Or this one actually convinces them that they should join the Rangers. So then they run off the map and then they turn up back at Ranger headquarters as like new recruits. And you can even pay them and then turn around and shoot them anyway. Or you can go to the right of the path instead and just never run into these guys. Like I said, we like to let players... I'm going to refuse to pay, but we like to let players approach the game in whichever way they want. Crouching helps a lot with shooting. That's just down on the D-pad. When your turn starts, you're automatically targeting your closest enemy. So that's just what I want to shoot. I only have to tap A twice and then I get my attacks. That was not so great. And then I put him in ambush mode. As you can tell, the combat is pretty quick now. Too bad. And then again, looting is super quick. So the basic layout and pacing of these maps has not changed much. We did redo all of the graphics in these kind of maps, so they look a lot better than they did in the original. And one thing you might notice if you played a lot of the original is that we did redo a lot of stuff like loot distribution. There used to be kind of boxes of ammo everywhere. We took those out, so it's actually a lot harder to maintain your ammo in this version of the game. And again, we redid a lot of the combat to make the encounters more challenging. Let me select our clown here. So like I said, you can choose to attack who you want. So if I move the camera here, I can see this guy and I can just use right trigger and A to start a fight with him. snipers do not do so good up close, so moving back. That is some bad luck. A lot of the kind of hardcore mechanics that we had in the original are still in, so weapons can jam up, you need to unjam them on your turn, you can lose control of your companions if you do not have a high enough leadership skill. So the combat mechanics are still very complex. Yeah, there I lost control. And his gun is empty, so he just has to retreat. And this gun is also jammed. What? Useless. Alright. Radio parts we were looking for. So I found a map here which points out another town, but the fact that it's on the map now does not mean that it was locked off before. Like I could have gone to that location right from the start and just entered that town. We do not close off locations from the player, but there are radiation walls, so you do need some measure of protection. And again, we also do not do level scaling, so if you go to a high level area very early, then you're likely going to be in trouble. And another good example of the kind of choice and consequence based thing is what happens next. So we have these two radio parts now. We get a call from our boss to go and install them in two towns to the south. But as we head south, we get emergency calls from both towns. And you can only choose to save one, and while you're saving that one, the other one is being destroyed, and you hear like cries of help from them. And then when you go there later, it's like a different destroyed map, so we had to make 4 maps for 2 locations. Or you can even ignore both locations and leave them both to be destroyed, and then you get a third alternate quest to do. So like I said, we give players tough choices to make, and then we make sure that there are actual consequences to those choices so that they actually matter. I think this covered a lot of the basics, so just let me know if anyone has any questions. No questions, no questions? Okay.
Pretty clear.
Any thoughts?
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, it seems to work good. Yeah, pretty good controller. Fast, you said?
Yeah, it's a lot smoother and quicker. It was hard work because we had to redo a lot of this interface from the ground up, but that also gives the opportunity to make it flow a little different. And we looked at games like the new XCOM for inspiration on how to do tactical turn-based on consoles. But a game quite like this I don't think really exists in current generation consoles, so we're hoping people will be interested.
XCOM was sold pretty well for consoles, so I think Wasteland
Hope so, fingers crossed.
will be good too.
No, but I like XCOM. Yeah, the setting is pretty cool. The post-apocalyptic, but then the Western style.
Yeah, it has a very cowboy style feel to it. Yeah.
For console games with Western settings.
Yeah.
Pretty much
So
adapted.
some Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, but this is
Way different.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
So when will this be out?
So we're coming out to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and it's also an upgrade on PC, which is free. It's coming out October 13 on PC and in the Americas for the consoles, and then worldwide for the consoles on October 16. Not too far apart, but for retail reasons they are a little apart. So yeah, I'm just traveling south.
Will it be available this?
That part, that's radiation.
This is radiation, yeah. I can move into this and it will hurt me, but it won't kill me immediately. But if you have protection, you can just move through there without getting hurt. And similarly, I have to look at my water level. It's actually pretty dangerous to travel around, so you have to stay away from radiation, you have to be careful with random encounters, and you have to manage your water levels. So we're there. Any other questions?
I just asked, will the game be on disc or physical?
I will have a physical release. Yeah, we're here in Deep Silver Space because they're doing the retail release. We are self-published digitally, but
The PC version is on Steam, right?
no, it's on Steam, GOG,
GOG, right.
and
Yeah.
I think on Origin as well. In fact, yeah. And if you own it on one of those, so it'll automatically upgrade to the new version. We did not want to charge people again for
I understand.
for this version.